This is Leave Mommy Malkers Alone, probably part 3. Let me scroll right down to the tweets from this insane woman on Twitter. This is how it starts, and this is where we're going. Star Wars, our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. You guys sell toys. Get over yourselves. We do not stand for bullying and racism. We support some nobody you've never heard of who's a racist. Like, she's a flat-out racist. I did a video on it yesterday. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's on Bitchute. Flat-out anti-white, racist, and sexist. It's good to know Disney supports that. So somebody with balls as big as church bells comes to her defense. Andy, some Italian guy. I never heard of what's-her-face, but I'm confused. Where's your tweet for support for Gina Carano? Mommy Malkers. She's been endlessly bullied for things she's never even said. You stop picking favorites and be truly inclusive by supporting all your talent equally, no matter who they vote for. Boom. That's it. Obviously, she's, I don't know if she's right of center, left of center, but she's not drinking the Kool-Aid. And this is where the insanity starts. And this is where I'd say, don't go harass these people. This is just, I assume, is an anonymous account. So, I'll leave it at that. Basically, the punchline to all this is hating women, hatred, racism, bigotry, prejudice, racially based, sexually based, ideologically based, politically based hatred, venomous hatred is absolutely cool if it's coming from the right side. Otherwise, you guys are Nazis. You know the commies actually kill people like about 1,000 times more than the Nazis ever did. Oh, well, yeah, but their ideology was different. No, it actually wasn't. And here's the thing is talk is actually very, very cheap. Words don't matter. The Russian Constitution, you might as well have written it on. It guarantees free speech. You can write that on toilet paper. It doesn't mean anything. The KGB would watch women pass by, and they would kidnap them, find out who they were, if they were important or not, and then snuggle them, and then just release them on the streets when they were done with them. Because they could. Because ultimate power corrupts ultimate. Anyway, Twitter is 90% alt-left racist extremism. So get on Gab. Gab and Bitchute, oh my gosh. Especially Bitchute. They're both blowing up. You can't get dogpiled on Twitter if you're not there. If a public figure leaves Twitter for Gab, it pisses off all of these Maoist children because they lose their ability to cry bully you. Parler didn't get shut down because it was full of Germans from the 30s and 40s. It got shut down because it was a competitor. Gee, don't you guys support small business? How did the left switch to just sucking the blank of their corporate overlord masters? That all kind of changed. Somewhere in the 90s, the left got corporate. The left switched from the liberal left to the authoritarian left, the globalist left. And globalists aren't communists. They're something different. Anyway, and you want to talk about Gamergate? Wasn't Zoe Quinn blowing dudes for good reviews? You want to talk about that? Oh, that didn't... Okay, it happened, but she's a woman. You know, Gina Carano also has a vagina and big old titties. She's a woman too. But she is not 100% on board. So that makes her a Nazi. Okay, what Twitter does is it gives mentally ill kids like this idiot from alcoholic single moms the power to destroy adults who know that what the kids are going through is just a childish phase. No, you're not really a non-binary, otherkin, trans, Muslim unicorn. That's just something you're using to get attention from the hole in your life left by your parents who were too busy watching bread and circuses to raise you. These kids were raised by Bolshevik programming on their TVs and phones. Now they're brainwashed sociopaths, incapable of critical thought. This is a threat of grievous bodily injury. Will you... Yeah, buddy, if I were you, I'd call the FBI. Will she get kicked off Twitter? Nope. Maybe not. I mean, she doesn't have a blue check mark, so she's not important. But if I were this guy, yeah, call the FBI. That's a death threat. A threat of GBI is a death threat. Gina Carano isn't 100% on board with the bullshit brainwashing. Because of this, she must be destroyed. Transphobe is a control term invented by globalists to manipulate you. Homophobe, anti-Semitism, Islamophobe, those are all control terms that they invented to use as shields to hide behind. They get these terms in the public lexicon, they get them MSN to use them, then the groups that these words shield commit bad acts. Then they use the control terms as shields. When people looked into the Epstein Island stuff too closely, Alan Dershowitz started to get very nervous and write articles attacking the victims for exposing the truth. I don't want to get Isaac Capied here. What does he have in his closet? What dark secret horrors, Mr. Dershowitz? Oh, I'm going to sue you. Yeah, I'm judgment-proof, buddy. If you're against boys on the girls' team taking those scholarships that were meant for girls and changing in the locker room with your daughter, then you're transphobic, and a Twitter mob will get you fired. If you think you're going to get any help from the media, you can get that thought out of your head. That the media on your side, that all stopped in the 80s. They're on your side as long as it's politically expedient to be so. The mainstream is 100% globalist corporate propaganda. The media brainwashing machine introduced the control term racism as the greatest evil, but they don't provide a rationale to support that assertion. They let people know that if you use this term, you can shut down a conversation. It's difficult to counter the accusation because the definition means whatever they want it to mean. It really just means I am going to manipulate you with an appeal to emotion. Then the media academic complex makes all the other control terms equal to the primary one. So if enough of a mob call you one of these terms, you'll get fired. The banks will close your accounts and you will be unpersoned. Gee, you guys should start your own social media, banks, and country. Yeah, or we could just deport you all back to Bumfuckistan and take Kekistani back. I don't care if it's a dead meme. You can't have peace and liberty when the banks, media, academia are all controlled by globalists whose goal is to destroy your nation. That's what globalism means. Twitter is the brown shirts of the liberal elites. Oh, and speaking of globalists getting nervous, I wonder when Tim Poole will get kicked off YouTube. He's left of center and he lampoons the hypocrisy of the left. He is much more dangerous than someone who is openly right of center because he's so reasonable. His pre-recorded videos are not anything special. It's a little too clickbaity. But his live streams are skating over ever-thinning ice. He talks about liberal elites and our corporate overlords with a critical eye and has a huge audience. YouTube is not going to allow him to stay. And I know you think that's crazy. Oh, they're not going to kick off Tim Poole? I suspect they will. They wouldn't dare. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do... Well, you know what? He's big enough to start his own platform. He'll go to his own platform. Hopefully, he can team up with Nick Fuentes, Salty, Vincent James, Alex Jones, Red Ice, all the evil wrong thinkers. Like, you don't have to agree with people to share a platform with them because you agree with the principle of free speech, the open marketplace of ideas. And someone on a live stream last night said, if your coalition, he was talking about people on the right, isn't big enough to include people that you're very uncomfortable with, then your coalition isn't broad enough to win. The left is teamed up with literal Nazis who support gulags and the mass extermination of hundreds of millions of people. And the right is so principled, they won't team up with anyone who flies a flag that makes them nervous. You know what the Confederate flag means? It means fuck you. It doesn't mean they want to enslave anyone. It means fuck you. That's all it means. To most people, that's all it means. That's why occasionally you see a black guy flying the flag, because he knows what it means, at least what it means to him. But the right, oh, we've got our principles. We've got our principles. We mustn't upset. Well, you can go with your Ben Shapiro and Dan Crenshaw and who's that guy with the big head? All those not America First crowds, and you can just go fuck right off over there, because all that neocon stuff, that was yesterday, and yesterday lost. Anyway, so Twitter has removed the mask from the globalists in the schools and media. You can get, I'll edit this and say, red-pilled by following their accounts in a matter of months. Follow the ADL, SPLC, ACLU, the media, movers and shakers on the left, all the people behind the camera, in front of the camera, the guests, the academics, the writers, all the people that CNN interviews. Once you follow them, you follow about like 500 or 1,000 accounts. I hate to say go down the rabbit hole. It's such a Alex Jones type cliche. That's a pretty good simile, analogy, metaphor. I don't know. I failed English. Once your eyes open, you can never go back to sleep. Twitter can red pill normies faster, deeper, cheaply than anything else. In a matter of months, you will see what you need to see. And join us. You'll realize that everything from Hollywood is a lie. If you think you know something because Hollywood explained it to you, you don't know the truth. You know the version that they want you to know. Cell phone cameras and alt media is going to bury these people's narrative. A common cell phone, a big micro SD card, an extended battery can record an event in 1080 that shows that CNN manipulated a scene to push a narrative. That's why the powers that be destroyed Parler and are working to destroy Gab and Bitchute and Odyssey. But there's too many now for that to be successful. We're growing. It's the Princess Leia talking to Vader with General What's-His-Face, Peter Cushing in the background. It's slipping through your fingers. There's too many systems slipping through. Anyway, anyone with a very small investment can be a reporter. I'm talking about a couple $100, and you can put a video up on alt media that shows CNN to have manipulated a scene. In fact, people did just that. How many times can you show that CNN or MS? I'm using CNN as just inclusive of all mainstream media. When someone has repeatedly lied to you, you throw out everything. All their testimony is thrown out because they are proven to be a repeated liar. Why didn't she vote for Hillary Clinton? Trump's a Nazi. Because Hillary Clinton was proven to be a repeated liar. Trump was an unknown. It's better to gamble on an unknown than a proven liar. CNN and big tech, like you saw who won last 2020 election, wasn't Kamala. It was big tech, which is big tech in the banks, right? They can't allow somebody with a $200 cell phone and a couple $100 worth of gear to show verified hate. Twitter took all those verified hate things down. There wasn't just verified hate. There was a lot of blue checkmark hate where they'd show racism on the left and coming from a protected group on the left. And they'd come up with facts and go, hey, you guys are racist. We have a problem here. You guys are getting away with racism. So Twitter didn't ban the racists. They banned the people who reported on them. Anyway, people are leaving Twitter. Screw Twitter. Banning Trump, that was the best thing for alt tech and the rise of free speech. People are finally leaving Twitter, YouTube, and the Zuckerborg platforms. YouTube's not going away, but its future is going to be pure normie fare. The future of YouTube is more mundane Matt rather than Jeremy from the Quartering. I think a lot of these Fandom Menace, Comicsgate channels, all these normies things that are slightly right of center, by right of center I mean just like even Chew on Head, if she lampoons the left, she used to, I think she stopped all that, and she's like firmly in her T-34. All those channels, then even if you're on the left but you make fun of the left, I don't think you've got a future on YouTube. But thankfully now there are alternative platforms where these people can do it commercially. They can make a living doing it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'll see you on, Odyssey, Bitchute, and the next live streaming platform that has free speech is going to be $1 billion company in a year.